Curtis, just tell us about the conference and the presentation you're being involved in here.
Well, I've come out to actually share some ideas on intermodal traffic, and people think mostly about airports and rail connection, and I'm trying to expand that beyond to a broader discussion about marine. Having been in the airport industry for 20 odd years and now getting into the marine side, what I have noticed is there's this profound lack of linkage. Very similar businesses, but there's very few examples of good linkages across the world.
Why do you think that is?
I'm still not quite sure, but I think it has to do with there's very few examples of where that connection is intuitive. Hong Kong is an example where they've done a very good job of connecting the modes, both between rail, water, and air. Vancouver has been able to do some of that with their cruise industry, but it just becomes a matter of necessity in some places, but it becomes a matter of opportunity in others, and that's an opportunity that I don't think has really been explored to its full extent.
There may be sites where they may not be next to, but they could be easily linked, or the links improved.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's too easy to be working within your own industry. And what I did find from the research when I was getting ready for this conference was that, in fact, there's competition between carriers, and then there's competition between modes. But if we did what we do with airlines, where airlines do alliances and work together on co-marketing and interline baggage and all the other things that they do to make it smoother, the purchasing decision becomes a singular decision. The marketing and the code sharing becomes a singular purchase exercise for the customer. You don't really see that in the marine industry connecting with the airline industry. So if we can provoke some ideas and some conversations, I would love to see that starting to happen more. There are some very limited examples out there, and we'd like to use those as the opportunity to open up conversations about other places where that can be done.
Here is a fantastic opportunity to do that. Tell me, why was it important to come and share these thoughts at this event in particular?
Well, it is the Passenger Terminal Expo. It doesn't necessarily say it's for airports only. And I thought that was, a bit of an enlightened approach, that in fact we're not limiting it to just air, but we talked a lot about rail earlier this morning. Integrating that marine sector is huge. And if we can get the efficiencies from that and start having carriers, whether they're marine-based, rail-based, or air-based, working together, that becomes a value add to the customer, but it also becomes something that really ties into what's happening in terms of the global shift towards customers buying online and being their own travel agent. The simpler you make that, the simpler it becomes for the customer, one click away from connecting the modes.
And what are your thoughts on the conference and the structure and the people that are here?
It's been my second or third year. My first presentation or involvement was back in 2010 from the airport side. So I've always known this to be a very good place to get the people together to share ideas, but also to be able to network and find ways of, again, sharing those ideas. Previously it was across continents, now it's across sectors. And
the exhibition as well, I guess, as you say, Passenger Terminal Expo, it's not limited to airport, and there's a lot of things to look at for your sector as well here.
Absolutely. Whether it's a cruise terminal, a ferry terminal, an airport terminal, or a rail terminal, we need all the same things. We need integrated baggage solutions. We need chairs. We need advertising. We need all the technical support. So really, when you examine the modes really aren't that different. People working within the modes like to think that they're special. You know what? We're not that special. We're all working to the same end, getting that consumer, getting that customer from point A to point B with the least amount of hassle possible. And
you take an opportunity to have a walk around the floor here and look at some of the exhibitors and, crucially, technologies that can help you meet those challenges you're facing.
Well, and technology is the key. Technology is making it so much easier for things to happen more seamlessly. But again, as I said earlier, I really feel that we haven't used the technology. The people from the various sectors need to start talking together in a room and letting the technology bridge. There's investment in infrastructure, which is physical bricks and mortar, but then there's that investment in the sort of intellectual capital and ultimately in the IT world to connect it all together. It's all out there. We just need to network it and connect it, and we'll all be much better off.
And the conversation for that could start here.
Let's hope so.